Hey everybody, Frank Kern here. Hope you are well. Today I'm going to give you something really cool. This is called the one-page webinar framework, and this is a super simple way to use a single sheet of paper to create webinars that sell. So I think you're really going to love it, and I've also got a surprise. Today I'm also going to give you a $2,997 training absolutely free. I'll tell you more about that and why I'm doing it in a minute, but first, let me walk you through this framework. So hopefully on this page, you should see a little link to download the one-page webinar framework itself. This is what it looks like, and I'm going to walk you through what it is and how to use it right now. So here's the deal. There are really 6 parts to every webinar that sells something, and this framework walks you through all 6 of them, and you can sort of fill in the blanks here as we go along. So I'm going to help you do that right now. So the first chunk of any webinar is something that is called the confirmation. And the confirmation is really brief. It's really simple. It's just a couple slides. I'll give you some examples here in a minute. And it's got really just a couple of functions. First of all, you want to confirm that your viewer has made the right decision to attend. So you always have to remember to think about everything from your audience's perspective. So they've invested their time with you. And every second of this webinar, especially at the beginning, there's going to be a little voice in the back of their mind saying, hey, is this worth me sticking around for? Is this actually worth my attention? So you really need to confirm right off the bat that, hey, you know what? You've made a smart choice in attending today. You also want to use this part of your webinar to introduce yourself and reestablish familiarity. Even if they already know you, you always want to sort of reestablish who you are and why you are there. And finally, you want to sell them on staying for the rest of the webinar by telling them exactly what they're getting. And this might sound like a lot, but really, this whole piece might be 2 minutes or something. In fact, it's usually just a couple slides. So let me give you an example of one of the slides I use during one of my webinars for the confirmation part. This is a slide where I am introducing myself and telling people why what I'm doing is relevant to what they want to actually accomplish, right? So as you can see, this is just one slide. There's 4 bullet points on there. Nothing really special. The reason we don't talk about ourselves very much is because they don't actually care about us. They care more about themselves. So that's one slide during this confirmation part of the webinar. Here's another example, which is where I'm telling them what they're going to learn on the webinar. And remember, I said we want to sort of resell them on staying. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just telling them the 3 big things that I'm going to be teaching them during that webinar. And you know what? That's it. That's the entire confirmation section. So if you're sort of taking notes, you want to basically say reintroduce and resell. That's what we're doing. We resell by telling them what we're going to teach them on the webinar. So our next phase of the webinar is something called the difference. And in this phase, we want to immediately be very different from what they're used to. So chances are your webinar is being attended by folks who have attended webinars like yours in the past, right? Now, maybe not yours specifically, but maybe they've attended webinars by your competitors, and chances are they're a little bit jaded and they were disappointed because most people's webinars are just pitch fests that are thinly disguised as content. So immediately, right off the bat, we need to sort of acknowledge that and set you apart from your competitors. That way, they'll actually be paying attention to you. So there's a real simple way to do it. The first thing we want to do is we want to acknowledge their skepticism and objections, right? So everybody is going to be having some skepticism and objections right when they're getting on the webinar. And it might not be that they don't believe you or anything like that. It's usually going to be that they think that you might have an unfair advantage, or they don't believe in themselves, or whatever it is. Well, we need to acknowledge that right off the bat. We don't want to sweep that under the rug. The second thing we want to do is we want to magnetize your good prospects by polarizing the audience. And what that means is you need to go ahead and immediately say, you know what, hey, this webinar is not for people who want to X, Y, or Z. And the reason you want to do that is because, number one, you're going to be really upfront with about who you can help. And in doing that, the ones who you actually can help are going to see you as significantly more credible. I'll give you an example here in just a minute. I'll tie it all together for you. Bottom line is, these 2 actions really help you silence the audience's inner dialogue that otherwise the entire time would be saying, yeah, but what about my big objection? Okay, so let me give you an example. All right, so in my webinar where I teach people how to use webinars and how to be successful with webinars, one of the big areas of skepticism and an objection from my audience is going to be, well, yeah, you know what, Frank, you've done this forever. Of course you're successful in webinars because people know you and you have a big list. Well, I need to acknowledge that right off the bat. So here's the example of the slide where I do that. I will, during the presentation, say, hey, you know what? And by the way, I've got a confession to make. If you are thinking, you know what, Frank, of course you are successful with webinars, everyone knows you and you already have a big list, well, you're right. I do have a bit of an unfair advantage. So right there, I'm acknowledging that skepticism. I'm not telling them they're wrong for having it. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just saying, hey, well, you know what? You're right. That opens the door for them to pay attention to me later. Now, let me show you how I polarize the audience. So in my trainings, I always want people who are really serious about their businesses. I don't want get-rich-quick people. I don't want business opportunity seekers. I want real people. So in this section, on this slide I'm about to show you, what I'm doing is I'm polarizing the audience. So I'm deliberately being repulsive to the people that I don't want, which makes me extra magnetic to the ones I do. Sounds complicated. It's actually very simple. Here's the slide itself. I say, hey, you know what? Just before we go any further, I want you to understand that I can't help you if you're a get-rich-quick person. If you want to do nothing, and if you're lazy and you don't actually want to work, there's really nothing I can do for you. If you actually can't help your audience, and you're not really qualified to be helping people, none of what I'm going to share with you is going to work. Now, when I do all of that stuff, what happens, those two simple slides, what happens is the viewer is saying, you know what, this is different than what I'm used to. Most webinars I've been on, the guys are immediately making these big claims and big promises and these sort of pandering to me, and they never talk about my areas of skepticism, and they never acknowledge what I'm worried about, and right off the bat, this person has done this, I'm going to pay a little bit more attention. And that's really all we're trying to do in these two phases right here, is just reassure them that they're in the right place and get them to continue paying attention. Now, interestingly enough, it's actually taken me longer to describe what these two phases are and how they work than it will take you to actually deliver these two sections. So these are a total of about 4 slides. The confirmation and the difference combined, that's going to be maybe 5 minutes. Maybe. It's really quick, right? You're just sort of getting to the point, just really establishing good ground rules for your presentation. So the next part of your one-page webinar framework is a section where you want to really bond with your audience. So you want to do 2 things. First of all, you want to become more relatable, more likable to them. And secondly, you want to kind of warm them up to being receptive to what it is you're going to teach them. And there are 2 ways that you can do this. So the first way is by telling a story, and the second way is by presenting evidence. So let me give you some examples and explain further. So let's talk about story. In the story section, if you want to tell a story, there are a couple things you need to be aware of. First of all, the story doesn't need to be forever. This webinar is not about you. It is about them, and more importantly, it's about them getting the results that they want to get. So a perfect story framework is going to be how you discovered whatever it is that you are teaching them on the webinar. And a classic framework for that story is one of loss and redemption. And it usually goes like this. You will say something like, I used to struggle with this, and I tried everything, and here's all the stuff that didn't work, and then I made the decision to figure it out, and I started using something new, and now it works. Okay, so that is a very, very sort of simplified version of it. So let me give you an example. In my webinar, where I am talking about using webinars, I begin with my segue from the difference, and I'll say something like, so, as you probably would guess, I have an unfair advantage because I've got a fairly big list and a lot of people know me, so naturally you would think that I would be good at doing webinars, right? Well, let me tell you a little story. So now I'm segueing in the story, and then I go and I talk about how, as you can see, this is a little sample slide here. I talk about how I tried webinars and totally bombed. It really was very, very embarrassing. I got like 3,000 people in the webinar, and I totally bombed, and it was horrible, and it didn't work. And then after many unsuccessful attempts, I made the decision to go ahead and try something different, right? And that's my entire story. Okay, so it's very, very brief. So these examples are just 2 slides to that story. It's not like we're spending forever. Now, if you don't have a story, you definitely do not want to make something up. You have an alternative. And the alternative is where you will present evidence here. So the evidence is just proving to them that what you're talking about is something worth listening to. So if I were to use that evidence method to support the idea that, hey, using webinars are really good, I might show screenshots of all of my advertising campaigns and explain that these ad campaigns that they see here, UWB, EverWebinar, live webinars, this stands for webinar here as well. These are my biggest winners in terms of ads. You can see, I could show them, hey, listen, webinars have been really good for me. As a matter of fact, here are the stats from my ad campaigns where I've generated significant amounts of revenue from webinars. So I might use that evidence there. Does that make sense? So you don't have to use both. You can use either or. And this entire section right here doesn't really need to be more than a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes at the most, because the webinar is not about you. The webinar ultimately hinges here in section number 4. And section number 4 is the most critical part of the entire webinar. It's called the payoff. So you need to really be aware of what's going on in a webinar. People are investing their time and attention with you, and they're not coming to a webinar to hear that they've made the right decision. They're not coming to a webinar to hear about how you're better than or different than everybody else, and they're certainly really not there for your story, although it's helpful. What they're really here for is to get the results. So basically, your job during this payoff section is to take them from where they don't have the results that they want and give them some immediately actionable information that can get them the results they want. And this is really, really, really important to do correctly. So let me show you how to do it and tell you why it's so important. So the thing about the payoff is this. Basically, when you're on a webinar, you're trying to influence somebody, right? Hopefully you want to influence them to show them so much value that they'll want to buy something from you to get the sale. So there are really 3 ways we can influence people, online or offline, really. I mean, there's pretty much, these are the 3 ways. So the first thing is to talk about how good we are. We can talk a really, really good game and say, man, this is going to be great. You're going to love it. And you know what? That can work pretty good. And another way is to have others talk about how good we are. And you see this in like affiliate promotions all the time. When 9 million people send you an email about the same thing and they're all talking about how great the thing is. Well, this is this at work right here. We're having other people talk about how good you are. And both of these work pretty good. But the granddaddy of them all is the third method, which is to simply demonstrate how good we are. Right? Because seeing is believing, So if you think about it, I don't know if your grandmother told you this all the time. My grandmother would always say, actions speak louder than words. So if we can give them good, solid information and actually help them during this payoff section, then we're going to be influencing more than any of the other methodologies combined, because they're really going to be seeing that we can help them. Doesn't that make sense? We're going to be using the old demonstrate you can help them by actually helping them method. It's a novel concept in internet marketing. So let's continue. So think about this, right? Like I said earlier, the audience has given you their most valuable and irreplaceable asset, and that is their time. So they have got to get something in return for that time. Otherwise, your chances of actually making a sale and having a good relationship with them are very, very slim. So to maintain trust and desire, you really just want to demonstrate you can help them by actually helping them. So the way you want to do this is to teach 3 or 4 core things that they need, right? You don't want to tell them like 9 million things. You want to give them the big picture, something they can use right now, today, right? And the biggest thing here is you don't want to bog them down. That's when you can lose it. You can give them the best information, but if you bog them down, you're screwed, right? So let me tell you what that means. So I'll give you an example. It's the best way to explain it. So let's say we're doing a webinar on list building, right? So you're teaching this webinar on how to build a list. And one of the things that people need is they need to have good opt-in page layouts. Like their opt-in pages need to be laid out a certain way. They need to look good and all of that kind of stuff, right? I mean, that's kind of very, very basic stuff. So we got 2 choices on how to teach them this. The right way would be to give them solid fundamentals, like show them, hey, here's your headline formula, here's what some winning layouts look like, here's the button colors you want to use, things like that, right? You could show them examples of good pages that are working right now. That would be really simple. They would understand that. It would make sense. They could go model those pages immediately, okay? So the opposite of that, which would be bogging them down, would be this. You would say, okay, you need to have opt-in pages, and let me show you how to edit an opt-in page and create one using an HTML editor. And now we're showing them all of this code and stuff, right? Or, okay, here's how to add an opt-in form code to your web page. So you're like, opening up HTML and doing all this, like, that's going to bog them. They're going to be like, man, what are you talking about? I don't understand how to do it. So in your payoff section, it's really critical that you give them big picture ideas that they can grasp and implement immediately. Right? That's what you're after. You don't want to show like how smart you are by giving them 9 million pieces of information. Okay, so once you've done that, and this is really the bulk of your presentation right here, like this is the most important part. Okay, so if we were doing a webinar right now, everything I'm showing you right now would be the payoff section, right? Where I'm just giving you actionable information. I'm just giving you examples and everything. Okay, so our next phase here is going to be the transition, right? So if you think about it, the purpose of your webinar is to do two things. Number one, generate customers. Number two, build goodwill, demonstrate, and provide value. So you're right here. You just finished really giving them some immediately actionable value, and now it's time to sell things. And what happens is a lot of people get stuck here. They get really, really nervous when it's time to switch from teaching to selling, and they sound really awkward, right? They might start talking faster, or they jumble up their words, and that's totally normal. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. In fact, I'm just going to give you a language pattern right now. And here it is. You simply say, now we finished this, right? And you simply say, so if you found what I just showed you helpful, I think you're really going to like my new program. And then you just start talking about the program, right? That's it. So this transition phase is like 30 seconds. This is nothing. But you really need to just do it clearly and simply. So this is very, very easy. That's the way. So we're here in the payoff. You say, hey, that's how you grow giant tomatoes. And by the way, if you found this helpful, you're really going to like my new tomato gardening program called Tomato Gardening Secrets. I want to tell you about it right now. And then, bam, you go right into the description of your product, which of course would be the offer. And the offer has 12 steps. So there's multiple ways to make an offer, but there's a simple 12-step formula that really, really makes the sale and stacks the value. And I use it every single time. And I would love to give you that formula, as well as a very in-depth training on all aspects of creating high-value webinars that sell in my product called Ultimate Webinar Blueprint, which I want to give to you for free, literally for free. So if you want to build a list by getting webinar registrants, and you want to hold a really good webinar, and you want to make some sales from that webinar, and you want to learn how to do all of this in just 28 days, then Ultimate Webinar Blueprint is definitely for you. It'll help you build authority. It'll help you create a very loyal following. It'll help you get a highly responsive list, because people who register for webinars are traditionally more responsive and committed to people who simply opt in to get a report or something. If you want to build massive goodwill in your marketplace and sell like crazy, and you want to do it all in 28 days, then this is specifically for you. Like I said, I'm going to give it to you for free. Before I give you details, let me show you how I'm going to help you in this Ultimate Webinar Blueprint training. So this is a 4-week online course that normally sells on my website for $2,997. And here's the breakdown of it. In our first week, I'm going to show you how to get people to register for your webinar. So where do you find the traffic? Who do you target? What types of opt-in pages do you use? What should your copy on your registration page say? What should happen immediately after registration? Did you know that you can actually sell something right after the webinar registration and not have it hurt your webinar conversion? It's true. So that's what we cover in week number 1. So by the end of week number 1, you know what to say on your page. You should have your registration page built. You're off to the races. You know who to target and everything. So now, in the next module, it's something called indoctrination. So in this week, we're going to work on a process where you really get people to know, like, and trust you before they ever actually show up to the webinar. And this does 2 things for you. Thing number 1 is it causes more of them to actually show up because they really like you by this time. And thing number 2 is because they like you, it causes more of them to want to buy from you on the webinar itself. So it's got sort of a double fold, a 2 times effect on your business. They compound one another. It's really, really helpful. So once we have that, now we have the 3rd week, which is, of course, your Ultimate Sales Webinar. And this is really cool because during this week of your training, I actually give you the slide templates for all 6 of the one-page webinar framework sections. So, I just sort of walked you through example slides just now in the one-page webinar framework. Or in week number 3, we go really, really deep. So I actually help you script out all 6 of the segments, giving you examples of what I said, and even giving you slide templates. So you just change what the templates say, make them have your content on there, and you're off to the races. So during this week, it's really, really tactically heavy, which means we're really spending a lot of time actually implementing this thing. So I've broken it down into simple processes. You can just follow along with me and get this thing done, right? Because, hey, knowledge is great, but implementation is better. And that's what this is really built for. And finally, module number 4 is, I call it maximizing revenue, and that is actually how to continue selling after the webinar is over. Because if you think about it, naturally, not everyone who attends your webinar is going to buy. And this is where a lot of people miss a tremendous amount of revenue. There's lots of really helpful things you can do for the people who attended it, even for the people who missed the webinar, to continue making sales. And I'll give you a hint. It has nothing to do with replays. In fact, in my system, you don't even use webinar replays. All right. So if we were to look at this thing as a map, here is what sort of the entire blueprint would look like. So in our first week, I'm going to show you how to get traffic and what your opt-in page should look like and say to attract registrants. In your second week, right here, I'm going to show you how to have those registrants really feel like they know, like, and trust you before they ever show up to the webinar, which of course can cause them to be even more receptive to your offer, which should increase sales, which is very, very good. In your third week, I'm going to show you exactly how to build the webinar. I'm going to give you the slide templates. I'm going to walk you through each section personally, and I'm going to help you script out everything that you need to say during your webinar. So it'll have two things. Number one, it'll be really helpful to people. And number two, it'll help you actually sell and convert. And in your fourth week, I'm going to show you what to do after the webinar. This is really the most important part, by the way. If we think about this logically, of course, not every single person who registered for the webinar is going to either A, show up, or B, buy. And most people simply just send out 9 million emails with a link to the replay of the webinar. Well, that's probably the least effective thing you could do. There's an entire process for continuing to build goodwill after the webinar and continuing to make sales, and that's what's here on this map here. And during the class, I walk you through the map, this blueprint, and I show you exactly what to do. So, like I said, this training is currently for sale on my website right now. This is a screenshot of frankkern.com. So if you go there and you click on the products tab, you can see this. You can actually buy this for $2,997, and it would be worth it. But today, I would like to give it to you for free. So you're probably wondering why. The simple answer is this is a blatant bribe to persuade you to try my new coaching program called the Frank Kern Inner Circle. When you're a member of the Frank Kern Inner Circle, every other week you get live video conferences where I personally coach you and help you get your business to where you want it to be. This means that I personally help you get your site reviewed by me. You can get personal help from me with your offer. I personally help you and tweak your copy. I personally help you improve and analyze your sales process. Anything you need, we do it together live every other week during these video conferences. Plus, every month, I send you a package with secret documents and secret hard drive. Included in that package is something called Get Money Now. Get Money Now is a fully deployable marketing campaign in a box. You're literally getting blueprints and process maps walking you through how to implement the campaign. Plus, you get a special hard drive with videos of me personally showing you how to use it, and you get the templates and the swipe files for all of the copy in the campaign itself. This means emails, sales letters, videos, you get it all. But on top of all this, you're also getting a newsletter mailed to you every month as well. The newsletter reveals the results of the massive tests that I'm running in my business and in clients' businesses every single month. I'm showing you what's working, how I'm creating extra revenue, where the new traffic sources are, and more. It's like an up-to-the-minute field report sent from the front lines of the cutting edge of internet marketing. You'll be looking over my shoulder as I test new offers, create new campaigns, write new ads and sales letters, and grow money. It's like getting a call from me personally every month, giving you a behind-the-scenes rundown of everything that's making the most money right now, and then showing you personally how to model it in your business fast and to really make it useful to you. You're also getting a hard drive every month with videos of me personally going over the examples I'm giving you in the newsletter. The only other way to have access to this information would be if you worked in my office shoulder to shoulder with me every single day. So you're probably wondering about the cost. Well, as a member, you get everything. You get 2 live video conferences, one every other week, where we analyze your copy, break down your sales process, and improve your offer. You're also getting the Get Money Now marketing campaign in a box mailed to you right to your door every single month. Plus, I'm sending you the Look Over My Shoulder newsletter and the hard drives with confidential videos where I personally help you implement everything for just $397 a month. And there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. Plus, you still get to keep the entire Ultimate Webinar Blueprint 4-week training, which currently sells on my site for $2,997, absolutely free, just for trying it out and testing out being a member. So if you want to learn how to create webinars that sell and really build massive goodwill in your marketplace and help people and sell them at the same time, you're absolutely going to love this training, and you're really going to love the ongoing fellowship and community and training that you have as a member of the Kern Inner Circle. Now, let's talk about the membership dues. Like I said, it's just $3.97 a month, and yeah, it's not prohibitively expensive, but it's enough to keep the freebie-seeking knuckleheads and time wasters at bay. But for the right person, this membership should pay you. Think about this for a minute. Would it be worth $397 to have me personally create a marketing campaign for your business this month? Don't you think that if you deployed a campaign that I created for you, that you'd get a positive return on that $397 investment? If you're like most people, you'd tell me you'd probably pay for your membership several years over just with the proceeds from one campaign. You would probably tell me that everything else after that one campaign would be gravy. And that's why I'm sending you a complete marketing campaign in a box every single month. I want to make sure this is an absolute no-brainer for you. Plus, I really enjoy doing it, and I take a lot of pride in helping my members win big. So think about it this way. Would it be worth $397 for you to come spend an entire month looking over my shoulder, having me walk you through every email, every ad, every sales letter, personally showing you what's working best and helping you deploy it in your business? Well, the newsletter and hard drives that I mail to you every month are meant to give you that exact same experience and, more importantly, that exact same result. And here's something else to consider. Would it be worth $397 to jump online with me twice a month and have me review your marketing? That's what we do in the live video conferences every other week for members only. Plus, during those conferences, you can see your fellow members and get ideas from what's working well for them as well. If any of those scenarios sound like they might be valuable to you, then this is an absolute no-brainer, and that's why you should accept my bribe and become a member today. Remember, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. Plus, you still get to keep the entire client acquisition system. This is the whole system that teaches you how to attract and convert your perfect clients. It normally sells for $3,997, but it's yours to keep regardless, absolutely free. And you know what? Here's something kind of funny about the cost of this membership. If you do the math, it's just $13.05 per day. Well, as we both know, that's really not very much money. And I did a search on Google for what can you buy for $13.05. The most compelling thing I found was 1,305 Tootsie Rolls at a school cafeteria. That was on a thread in Yahoo Answers. So I wonder, which would you rather have? 1,305 Tootsie Rolls and the dental bill that follows, or a ready-to-go marketing campaign that's created by me personally? Hey, let's face it, $13.05 isn't going to change your life. As a matter of fact, if you woke up tomorrow and you didn't have $13.05 in your bank, you probably wouldn't even notice that your balance had dropped by $13.05. But the work that we do together can literally change your business forever. So accept my generous bribe today and become a member. You'll be part of a small group of high performers across multiple industries that share valuable information the rest of the world never discovers. You'll discover the latest cutting-edge marketing strategies and tactics before your competitors ever even know what hit them. And you'll be able to take fresh, new campaigns that are created and tested by me personally and plug them into your business every single month. Plus, you get to connect with me and your fellow members every other week live on our members-only video conferences, so you can get the help, guidance, and focus that you need. Once you accept my offer and become a member today, remember, you're under no obligation to remain a member, and you can cancel at any time, and you can still keep all the gifts for free. Hey, speaking of gifts, there's one more thing I want to show you. When you accept this generous offer and become a member today, I'm not simply going to send you your first issue and say good luck. I really intend to over-deliver. So here's how I'm going to do it. When you get your welcome package in the mail, you'll notice there's a lot more to it than just a newsletter and some hard drives. In fact, this box, like you see in the picture, is the actual box I'm sending you in the mail. It's your welcome package as a new member for the Frank Kern Inner Circle. And inside this package are 4 brand new programs that no one has ever seen. They've never been sold at any price, and they've only ever been made available to brand new members. And I want to include them for you for free. The first program is called the Ultimate Offer Formula, and this comes with its own manual as well as its own external hard drive, complete with videos where I'm personally showing you how to craft offers that are irresistible. So in this training, I walk you through how to create a pitch that sells. Listen, there's no fluff to this, there's no messing around, it's just a rock solid framework you can follow to create an offer for any product or service. It comes with a straightforward, no frills workbook and a hard drive with video training from me personally, where I walk you through exactly what to do and say. You can use this formulaic process to create offers and sales pitches that work in sales videos, that work in sales letters, that work on webinars, that work over the phone, that even work from stage. I'll be showing you the 12-step offer template for creating irresistible offers on demand. You'll be discovering the safety net system for making prospects feel like buying from you is the right decision. I'm going to teach you the calm and confident approach for making a pitch without sounding salesy, intimidated, or weird or nervous. I'm also going to show you 3 ways to add urgency to any offer so you can make more sales in less time. And so much more. You can literally use this, like I said, in sales letters, you can use it in videos, webinars, in person, from stage, whatever. Here's the bottom line. Go through this training and you'll know how to pitch anything. You'll never be stuck staring at a blank screen wondering what to do, because I'm giving you a tried and true, vigorously tested framework that just flat out works. And hey, if you think about it, in many ways, our income is in direct proportion to the amount of offers we make. And that means the more offers you make, well, the more income you should be able to receive. So this training gives you a proven system for creating winning offers fast. But you know what? That's just the tip of the iceberg, because in your new member welcome kit, you're also getting a second brand new training. This one is called Advanced Closing, and it teaches you how to use something called close stacking. Now, like all of the gifts that additionally come in your new member welcome package, this is brand new. It's designed to piggyback off of what you learn in the Ultimate Offer Formula, and it's designed to do one thing and one thing only, and that is compound the power of every single offer you make. So here's how it works. At the end of every offer, there is a close, right? That's the part where you ask your prospect to buy from you. Well, here's the thing. Hardcore marketers that really make the most sales, they know that the close is really just the beginning of the selling process. And that's why I created this process called close stacking. It's a series of 7 different frameworks that you can use to keep selling after you have made your original pitch, all of it in the same sales presentation. Think of them as a reclose. It's a way to restate your offer, overcome objections, and resell over and over again, all in the same pitch. I've never publicly taught this before, yet it's been one of my secret weapons for almost 17 years straight. So in this training, which of course comes with a manual and its own hard drive and its own videos, you're going to discover things like the price buster method for killing the no money objection before you ever even hear it, even if you're selling something expensive. I'll also teach you the emotional expansion method for linking your product to your prospect's most powerful driving emotions. I'll also teach you the apples to oranges close for repitching your offer and eliminating comparison to your competitors. And look, this is especially good for prospects who have quote unquote heard it all before. You're also going to learn how to create an emotional time machine and put your prospects into a buying frame of mind, and so much more, including scripts, demonstrations, and frameworks. I'm literally giving you the exact framework for each close, even scripting sample closes for you, telling you exactly what to say and how to say it and when. This training comes with a no frills, get it done right now workbook, and of course a hard drive with videos of me personally walking you through how to do everything. It's just like having me in your office with you as you craft a pitch, looking over your shoulder and telling you what to say next. For some people, this one training will pay for years of membership just by itself, but naturally, we're not stopping there, because within your new member welcome kit, I'm also giving you another training. It's called Power Positioning. Power Positioning is actually 2 products in one. You're getting 2 workbooks. One's called Power Positioning and one is called The Big Idea, and you're getting 2 hard drives with video trainings on it. Listen, here's how it works. Have you ever wondered why some industry leaders seem to effortlessly attract customers and clients? Have you ever wondered why some companies are able to charge several times more than their competition without even really trying to make sales. And have you ever wondered why companies like Apple and Tesla, for example, have incredibly loyal and even evangelistic customers who stand in line for hours just to be able to buy the next product? Well, the answer lies in positioning. And in this training, you're going to discover exactly how to create your own power positioning in your marketplace so that your perfect customers will seek you out and happily ask to do business with you. In this training, I'm going to teach you the power of psychographic profiling and how to exploit it for a near instant bond with your market. I'm also going to show you how to use something called polarity to make yourself ultra magnetic to your ideal prospects. You're also going to learn exactly what uniform and language patterns to use. Yes, I'm literally going to tell you, according to what industry you're in and who you're trying to attract, how you should look and specifically what you should say. You're going to discover when it makes sense to use taboo subjects in your marketing, like religion, politics, and money. And I'll give you a hint, it's almost always, and so much more. Listen, if you want your prospects to know, like, and trust you before they ever even have a chance to see your sales pitch or buy from you, then this is for you. And if you want to be positioned as the premier person of influence in your market, perceived as the highest authority in your field, and become the most sought after person, company, or brand by your perfect target audience, then this is for you. It helps you discover exactly what to say and what to do to elevate your image, reputation, and overall position in your market so that you become irresistibly magnetic to your ideal customers who really matter. I want you to think about this for a minute. Power positioning shows you how to be irresistibly magnetic to your ideal customers. And the ultimate offer formula shows you how to craft a winning offer for those customers on demand whenever you want. And in close stacking, you'll discover how to exponentially make every offer even more powerful, compounding the power of your own personal influence using the 7 different sales frameworks I personally walk you through. Imagine the effect these 3 trainings alone will have on your business. I created them specifically to be used together, so the effects of one will simply enhance the effects of the others, therefore making them even more powerful. And the reason I did that is because I believe that once you use what I'm giving you in these 3 trainings, you will now be ready for the 4th training. And as you can see on the screen, this is called Scale, the 6 magic steps to winning big. Look, you've seen it happen. Someone will enter a marketplace and they'll start out doing pretty well, and then the next thing you know, they're everywhere, right? Maybe you've seen it happen where it's been a competitor of yours, or maybe it was a friend of yours. Regardless, I can tell you one thing for sure. It was not luck. Going from small to giant online is really a matter of 2 things. Number 1, your thinking. Number 2, your systems. And I guess really number 3 would be your processes. And this 4th training I'm sending you takes all 3 of those and gets them perfectly aligned. In this training, I'm literally walking you through the exact mindset, marketing systems, and sales processes I've used to literally double my business in just under 7 months. Here's what's inside. I'm going to teach you the rental house method for making profits from paid media, ads like Facebook, Google, YouTube ads. I'm also going to show you the Warren Buffett approach to growing any business. And by the way, this has absolutely nothing to do with stocks. Another thing I'll teach you is the one simple shift that can instantly give you an edge over 99% of your competitors, even if they're bigger and more powerful than you. You're going to be discovering the compounder effect that's responsible for doubling my business in 7 months, and I'll be showing you exactly how to use it and when, and so much more. And here's something else you're really going to be happy about. This isn't about getting big in the sense of growing a big team, having a huge staff, having a ton of overhead, or anything like that. I doubt you got into business to have those types of headaches. Instead, this training is all about getting big in terms of sales and profits. So here's what I mean. A minute or so ago, I mentioned that I have literally doubled my business in the past few months. And what that means is I doubled my sales and my bottom line profits, but my team got actually smaller. So what this means is more sales, more revenue, and less headaches for me. So if that's what you're looking to accomplish, then this training is specifically for you. And listen, the reason I'm giving you these 4 brand new trainings is to really make your membership in the Kern Inner Circle as valuable and irreplaceable to you as possible. It's really important to me that when you get this and when you become a member, you think to yourself, this is the single best investment I have ever made in my business. So Here's what it looks like, the whole package laid out for you. And naturally, of course, we're going to rush you your new member welcome kit. That includes these 4 additional trainings, which you also get to keep, of course, for free as a brand new member. These are all gifts to you for becoming a new member. And naturally, included in this is your first month's issue. So this is an incredible bargain. This is a great offer. And of course, it is extremely limited. So as you can see on this page, there's a timer. When the timer hits 0, this offer has expired. So once you go ahead, take me up on this generous offer and become a member today, I'm 100% certain that you'll be glad you did. And of course, there's no obligation to stay. There's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So go ahead, join us right now today. Take advantage of this great offer, and I look forward to seeing you on our live video conferences. Thanks so much for watching this, and have a great day.